This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first ever in the history of the world June coaching call. And we are here to experience it together. So, welcome, everybody. Will is saying that there is no sound. Can the rest of you hear me okay? Okay, all right, Will, you might just want to turn up the volume on your computer then if it's not coming through on the big screen. Okay, all right, well. As usual, I want to get started with something that I'm stirred up about, something that has been on my mind. And as normal, it's something that's fresh. And so this morning, I was doing a little bit of reading, as is my habit in the morning. I've got a man cave, but one whole wall of the man cave is my library. I love to read mostly theology. This morning, I was reading about there's a book, a brand new book I just got in the mail yesterday called The Bible in the Future. And I read a couple chapters this morning. And here was the main point that I think has great application to our lives in general and to our real estate business in particular. Here was the point he was making. He said that when Jesus came for the first time, we got to experience the benefits of God's kingdom. You know, forgiveness of sins. How incredible is that? Peace, inner peace for the first time. Getting to know God, to establish a relationship with God. All these benefits, the kinship, brotherhood, sisterhood of faith. All these things were introduced into the world and brought all kinds of hope and joy. And yet, we would still say, there's a lot of anxiety in the world. There's a lot of division in the world. There's a lot of violence in the world. So what in the world is going on? And the author made the point that in the scriptures, the Bible always talks about the now and the later, the already and the not yet. That we're experiencing some of the benefits of God's kingdom on the earth right now. We do that every time we see somebody extend friendship, show love, forgive somebody, reconcile a relationship, but we can't certainly think that this is all there is. And that someday when Christ returns and the eternal kingdom is ushered in, then we get all the benefits. We're not just forgiven, then we don't even want to do anything bad. Can you imagine that? We won't even be tempted to violate our own values. So the already, the not yet, the now and the later, the foretaste we've had now, the appetizer now, but the main dish later. That is something that bleeds over into our everyday lives. I think we can all relate to it. Hopefully we had some breakfast this morning. I was going through Walmart buying supplies for our picnic today, went through McDonald's while I was there, picked up a little breakfast sandwich and a big iced tea. That was to satisfy my immediate hunger, but I was also buying groceries for later, both now and then. We save a little money because we want to go on vacation, perhaps sometime this summer, but we also want to save money for the long term, for our retirement, or maybe to buy a new car, something that's going to take a substantial savings over time. So we all live in this, now, but also the not yet. I was thinking about our real estate sales business and how so many agents struggle with that concept. They're either focused all in on the now. Doggone it, I gotta have a listing right now. I gotta have a closing within 30 days or I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills. Or they're completely focused on the future, perhaps building a database, learning technology, going to all kinds of classes and stacking up advanced designations, wanting to build this resume and this reservoir of knowledge, and yet they got no business right now. There is a sense in our business that if we have bills to pay, unless we have a trust fund or some working spouse or something like that who's taking care of us, we have to be focused on a right now business, stuff that's going to put food on the table now, and long-term business. The reason for focusing on the long term is that the long-term business is the most efficient business. If we can, and I'll give you an example of that, a geo farm. It doesn't necessarily produce right away business, but over time, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, that thing just takes on a life of its own. It becomes a monstrosity, and your market share goes from 15% to 20% to ultimately 50% plus. And you're doing business right in your own neighborhood. Sometimes you don't even have to get in your car. You can go service a listing in your pajamas, as long as you get up early enough and sneak out while it's still dark. There's tremendous efficiency in it, okay? So we want to pay attention to the long term if we're going to be in the business long term. But if we need business right now, if we got to pay bills right now, then we need to be focusing on that. And this now and not yet, this already, but also later, deals with both our sources of business and the strategies that we employ in that business. Let me give you an example. Our sphere of influence, people that you have some connection with, you know, friends, family, neighbors, school chums, church buddies, workout class, what you have some relationship with them. So let me ask you, is that right now business or is that later business? Anybody want to chime in? Okay, well, I understand why you're hesitant. It's a little bit of a trick question because as a source, it can be both. Your sphere can generate right now and later business depending on the strategy that you employ. If you were to pick up the phone today and call through your database, your sphere of influence, and say to them, hey, I'm just updating my database, want to make sure I have all your current contact information. Oh, by the way, since I have you on the phone, do you have any current real estate needs I can help you with? That's right now business. They may say, well, you know, absolutely, you know, my spouse just got transfer orders yesterday. You know, that could happen. That's right now. But if you're farming your sphere, you're sending your top 50 a magazine every other month, you're sending a postcard to everybody, you're inviting them to your client appreciation events twice a year, that's long-term business. So the source, sphere of influence, can be right now or later depending on the strategy that you employ within that source. And I know I confuse people when I say source and strategy, but source is where the business comes from, and strategy are the activities that you engage in to extract that business from the source. Okay, now I want you guys to get involved. Let's talk for a moment, because there may be some people on the call, I don't know, I'm just guessing, there may be some people who need some right now business. They got to eat today. They got bills to pay. What sources of business would you recommend for right now listings and sales? All right, your turn. I see Tom reaching for the button. Were you just focusing so we can see you better?
No, I was just reaching for my light so that it was angled in the right direction. I didn't want y'all to have poor lighting on my beautiful face.
All right, Tom, you got your mic on, so give us an example of something that might generate quick business.
Well, you know, it's like you just said, phone calls to your sphere of influence. It's very possible that they need something or know of somebody that needs it.
Yes, okay, so we'll take that. Sphere of influence. Kevin?
So Will and I both need some right now business, right now. And, but yeah, we also have this attention towards the long term. Some of the right now business I've gotten before has come from, you get an open house, you meet some people, you follow up with them. The fact that they came out to the open house means that they are actively looking at properties. They are literally active buyers. You don't get them all, but you get some of them, and you begin the dance, and within about a month or two, find them a house and get them under contract. So it's not today right now, but it is actions that begin right now. So open house, and you know, today, Thursday, is a good time. What I did last weekend is I literally looked at properties in my neighborhood, and I called the agents regardless of who they were with, and said, howdy doody, I'd love to help you with an open house this weekend. Are you interested? Yes, no, thank you, on to the next. And I got an open house, and I did it last weekend. And so it's the open house is one of the things that has worked for me for right now.
I love it. And I totally agree with you, Kevin. I put open house in my right now sources of business. Now, as in all of these, there will be outliers. I did sell a home in the Woodlands. I had an open house in Tomball. Met the daughter of a woman who lived on the East Coast, and the daughter was doing some preview shopping for her mother. It took 3 years for her mother to actually move here, but I stayed in touch with both the daughter and the mother the whole time and eventually sold them a home. But more typically, open house visitors are anticipating a move in the short term. So we would definitely call open house a right now source. We're missing some big ones. What else might get us a listing tonight? Go on a listing tonight, go on a listing appointment. If your life depended on it, where would you go in the next 6 hours to get a listing appointment tonight? What would you be doing? Oh, this is so easy. Jason, go ahead.
Expired listing.
There you go. Jason. That's the big elephant. Jason says, call expired listing sellers, right? Because we know they have expressed an intent to sell their home. We also know, because studies have demonstrated, that people whose homes expire, 90% of them still have a desire to sell their home, but they're mad at their former agent who lied to them. They're frustrated by the process. They were probably overpriced. But if you reach out to them and demonstrate that you're a competent, caring sales professional who specializes in helping people sell their home when another agent couldn't, boy, you could pick up a listing tonight. You might have to block 2 or 3 different time slots tonight to go on listing appointments. Absolutely, expired right now business. There's more. Where else could we get a listing tonight? Okay, well, I'm going to play off Jason. He had said expireds. I'm going to say for sale by owners. Expireds, we know they did want to sell their house. For sale by owners are trying to sell it right now, right? And we also know that the vast majority of them are going to be frustrated in their attempts to sell it themselves and are going to list with an agent. So we can reach out to them now. We might catch them in that moment of frustration and be able to go over and list that house immediately. Or more typically, we're going to start serving them and tell them, hey, I'm not actually calling to list your house. I know you've heard from 50 other agents who are trying to do that right now. I just want to help you. That's what I do. I specialize in helping people who want to sell their home. By the way, are you aware that in the state of Texas, the Texas Real Estate Commission, whose laws apply to every citizen of this state, requires that you provide a seller's disclosure to all prospective buyers? Have you done that? Do you have a copy? May I drop off a free copy to your home for you? Again, no cost, no obligation. I just help people. Would that be okay with you? You do that 3-4 times a day. You're going to be taking some right now listings, because you go over, you provide that, say, hey, I may have some buyers in my pipeline right now who might be interested in your home. Do you mind if I come in and take a quick look? You build some rapport, you see the little league pictures on the wall, you start talking about baseball, and all of a sudden they say, you know what, we're so tired of this, we don't even know what we're doing, could you help us? Okay, expireds, FSBOs, sphere of influence, open house. There's at least one other big source of right now business that we're missing. Anybody want to take a shot? Y'all are laying back. Is everybody afraid of getting the wrong answer today? That's all right. Everybody will get a participation trophy, even if it's not exactly right. All right, here we go. Online leads. All right, collective sigh. We hate online leads, don't we? Hey, online leads have made thousands and thousands of real estate agents wealthy. Okay, I love online leads. leads because they are an unlimited source of business and they're cheap. The leads are cheap. I mean, where else can you spend $100 and get the contact information for 20 different families who've said, we're interested in buying or selling a home right now? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So don't overlook that. Now, obviously, you have to have some thick skin. You have to be persistent because other agents are calling them. They may have registered on 5 or 6 different websites. One of those websites may have sold their contact information to 20 different agents. But if you're using a source like Make It Rain through the EXP KV Core or Core Property Boost, also through your KV Core account, those leads are exclusive to you. Unless they've registered elsewhere, they're not selling them to anybody else. And if you just develop this rhythm of calling them every day, one of our agents, Victoria Fincher, told me just a few days ago she's doing Make It Rain. I think it costs $200 or $250 a month. Now brace yourself. She said she's getting 3 to 4 leads every single day. Every single day. $200 to $250 a month. Make It Rain. It's in your KV Core account under the marketing tab. I think it's marketing tab or additional services. Go take a look because it's absolutely it's making it rain for her. Okay, those are right now. If you got to put food on the table tonight, if you've been in this business 6 months and you still don't have a listing, and you're thinking, doggone it, I'm going back to Home Depot. I'm going to have to get my old job back. I'm going to have to start networking again, brush up my resume. If I don't get something going, there's you go. That's how you do it. FSBOs, expires, call through your sphere, get some online leads. Even at a 1% conversion rate, Victoria is going to be closing a deal a month at just a 1%. 1% conversion, that's a closing a month. Average $300,000 sale is a $9,000 commission. Doggone it, I'd spend $200 to make $9,000 all day long. Okay, there we go. That's food on the table tonight. Now let's talk about the long term. Let's talk about real efficient sources of business, fun sources of business, where we're not picking up the phone and dialing for dollars, but people start calling us. That's what we all want, right? I mean, that's the sweet spot. How can we invest our time, effort, and money and develop these long-term, efficient, fun sources of business? First of all, what are those sources? Anybody want to play? Oh, Kevin, your lips are moving, but your microphone's not on. Go ahead, Kevin.
Long-term source, Will.
The long-term source? Sphere of influence.
Sphere of influence. We're going for the sphere. Sphere for $100.
It's like being in Sunday school. If they ask a question and you say Jesus, you're probably right. In a real estate class, if you answer sphere of influence, 90% of the time you're going to be right. And yes, that's absolutely the case. It is right now business. If you call, it's long-term business. Here's a little memory device to kind of divide the two. Short-term sources, long-term sources, applies to strategies. Right now is call, long-term is card. Call or card. You're sending postcards, right? This would include your emails. You're sending them market reports. You're sending them neighborhood updates. All of this stuff is automated through KV Core, and it will generate relationships long-term, because not everybody needs to buy or sell right now. But if you're dripping on them with the cards and card equivalents in 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, when the time comes, boy, nobody else has stayed in touch with them through all of that. And you're going to be in the prime position to get the call when they have the business. Okay, love it. Sphere of influence. What's another long-term source of business? Okay, I'm going to help you out here. Any source of business that has the word farm in it is a long-term source. Kelsey, well, you would add something here? Go ahead.
We were just going to say geofarm, so we're right there with you, geofarm.
Yes, okay, so that definitely has the word farm in it. So your geo farm, and you know, if you've read my book, I think that should be your neighborhood. The neighborhood where you live, where you own a home, where you're invested. I live here, I work here, I play here. That's your geo farm. Yes. And the reason for the farming analogy is you're planting seeds. You don't plant a seed today and eat a radish tomorrow, much less, eat the fruit from a tree. You're planting, cultivating, watering, dripping, building relationships, building credibility, demonstrating your commitment to the neighborhood over time. So eventually, even the naysayers are going to be like, doggone it, that Kelsey, man, she just doesn't go away. In fact, every weekend we see her name on these open house directionals on every corner in the neighborhood. She must own the neighborhood. Everybody must be doing business with Kelsey. And over time, that just wins over the neighborhood. And even though I'm calling this a long-term source, that doesn't mean it has to be a long time from now. As I've shared with you previously, you can achieve significant presence in your first year in a geo farm, and you can own it by your second or third year. By that, 50+% market share. You take more listings and sell more homes in that neighborhood than the other 45,000 agents in Houston combined. Okay, but that's not food on the table tonight, so we're going to call it a long-term source. A geo farm is not the only kind of farm. What's another kind of farm that would yield long-term results?
Look, it'd be like specific activities, like a car enthusiast group, or
Yes,
something.
yes, yes, an affinity group. And Tom, we would call that a demographic farm. It's a group of people who share a common interest, and you are in that group. So you don't want to market to the Corvette Club if you don't drive a Corvette and you're not a member of the club. Okay. So if you're a Ford person, stay away from the Corvette Club. But man, if that's your life and your aspiration is to have a garage with 10 of those Corvettes in there, then the Corvette Club, those people will want to do business with you because you're one of them. You get them. You have so much in common. People want to do business with people who are like them because they think you're inherently more trustworthy, right? If you're birds of a feather flock together. So think about the groups that you're part of. Your church group, where you went to school, where you graduated from, certainly your hobbies. Boy, those are real powerful. Perhaps if you were born in another country or you speak another language, whatever it is that makes you special, whatever you're passionate about, I promise you there are other people who share those same characteristics. And if you're part of them and interacting with them and serving them and being friends with them, then you might as well help them with their real estate needs. And that means you're going to market to them just like you would to your sphere, investing over time, being part of the group, and it will absolutely come back to you again and again and again, short term, mid-term, and long term. Okay. All right, guys, I'm not going to belabor this point any longer. I just want you to know that most of us need business now and we need it later. And while we're building for the future, we also want to be investing right now. And doggone it, you know what that means? That means picking up the phone. And this was not an intentional plug, but it just occurred to me that we're going to be having a call session, a shared power hour today at 1 o'clock, right after our potluck lunch. Bring your call list, bring your database. You can call your sphere, you can call FSBOs, you can call expireds, you can call people in your neighborhood. Bring a call list in your phone, and we'll do this together. We'll take some time and encourage each other. We'll share wins, go back and call, share wins, probably about an hour, hour and a half all together. And that'll be starting right around 1 o'clock after the potluck today. All right, well, there we go. Thank you for indulging me in the now and later discussion. Just for a moment, let's talk about any big wins, big losses. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Just one question before we go too far. You mentioned expireds. Do you or was somebody else want to volunteer how they access and do the expireds? That was one mention of what's the next step on expireds. If I want a listing today, how do I get those?
Yeah, great. Okay, I'm happy to respond. Is anybody else actively working expireds or FSBOs who could share your source and your strategy? Where do you get the names and phone numbers, and how do you approach them? Anybody want to weigh in on that? Okay, let me make a couple suggestions. Okay, yes, Maya, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not actively doing it. I was just looking into it because I feel like I should start doing it. The site that I was going to use is called Red X, and they
Yes.
have a whole bunch of different levels to it. So you can do expired FSBOs, you can do just specifically to your neighborhood. So like the expired one was like either $59 or $139 a month. And then they give you the address, the owner's name, the phone number, and then with like the upgrades, they give you a whole list of everything else. But I kind of looked at a whole bunch of different ones, and that one seemed like it was pretty credible and it looked pretty legit. So
Yes, yeah, thank you, Maya. It is legit. If you want to check it out, the web address is actually theredx.com. So put a "the" on the front of it, and you'll go there. I would also suggest you compare it to landvoice.com. Both of them are similar services, but they may have different specials running, different pricing, different packages that might appeal to different people. But if you go to theredx.com and landvoice.com, that'll get you started. You can also just Google. There may be some newer sources that I'm not aware of, because it's been a while since I've actually worked in either one of those. Okay, so there's your source, Kevin. And in terms of your approach, in terms of the strategy, then with FSBOs, you want to serve them. Most of them are not necessarily going to let you take a listing tonight, but again, do something like I suggested with the seller's disclosure, offer to run some comps for them that they could have available in their home to show prospective purchasers what their home is valued at, some things like that. You typically have to serve a FSBO for a little while before they'll do business with you. With an expired, that really is right now, tonight listing business. And you just want to call and say, hey, I saw you had your home on the market. It expired a couple of days ago. I'm just calling to see, do you still have any interest in selling your home? Okay. Do you have any suspicions about why it didn't sell? And then just share with them that you specialize in helping people sell homes that haven't sold, and that you're an expert in pricing, marketing, negotiations, and you'd love to just come take a look at their home and have a conversation with them and see if it might be a good match. Okay. While we're at it, I'm going to share with you one other strategy on FSBOs that when I was actively selling, this got me some listings, and it was more right now listings as opposed to later listings with FSBOs. What I said here's what we know about FSBOs. They're trying to save money. That's why they've not listed with an agent. They don't want to pay the commissions. And so they're very price sensitive, and they think they'll be able to find a buyer on their own. So what I always say to them is, you know what? I'm going to give you the best of both worlds. You can continue marketing your home on your own if you would like to. I'll go ahead and take a listing. I'll market it to the other 45,000 agents in the market. I'm going to put it on the dozen websites. It's going to be on Zillow and Realtor.com and HAR. I'm going to market the heck out of it. But you know what? If you find a buyer on your own, I'll put it in special provisions in the listing agreement. If you find a buyer, you just tell me and I will cancel this contract and you won't owe me a cent. And almost every time they would take me up on that, because that gives them everything. Gives them, they haven't lost anything. And yet not one of them ever sold their home on their own. I sold them, because once you start marketing, they don't even try. They don't even try. They know you're going to bring them a buyer. Okay. All right. So the next question is big wins, big losses, big events. What's been going on in your sales business that of note within the last week? Anybody? Yes, Tom.
I've had I won't call it a big loss, but it's a loss. I was working with a customer that called me, asked me what I could sell the house for and when. And all the comps came out to be last 6 months, 7 houses all went for over 300,000, and it sold in 23 days. And she said, now I'm also working with Open Door and she gave me the numbers at Open Door. Open Door offered her 267 for a house that should sell for 300. And so got it all worked out, got what needed to be done to the home, got a painter lined up, a lot of stuff. Open Door came back. They changed their offer from 267 to like 285.
Okay.
Which made it basically, that was the extra money that she would make if we did it the traditional way. So she ended up going Open Door.
Okay.
So that's a loss. But I just wanted to share that. I had her on the line, and I think she was going with me until Open Door. You probably said I have a realtor involved that says they can get a lot more.
Yes.
And they immediately went up 20 grand.
Well, you served her. You got her some more money.
Yeah, I
I want to
served her.
respond to that in just a moment. But Kelsey, I see you've got your mic on. Did you want to respond to that?
It's actually Michelle.
Yes, Michelle.
And I did want to respond because, guys, EXP does express offers.
Yes.
And when you go through their training, I haven't submitted anything yet, but they show you how to do a net sheet. And you can put it out there to companies like Open Door and other investors. And sometimes you can bring the buyer in at a higher price point than you could have sold it off market. I mean, they go over the net sheet and show you how to do all of that. So if you haven't gone through express offers, with the market shifting, I think express offers is a top of the list item to go through because it's going to help you to be able to work in that arena.
Yes. Yeah. And so, Tom, using express offers, you could have said to her, oh, I understand the appeal of Open Door, no showings, no open houses, quick sale, cash offer. You know what? If you'll give me a week, I can bring you 6 to 7 offers of the same kind. So what we're going to do, instead of just offering it to one Open Door, we're going to have other buyers competing for your home, running up the price just as it would be if we went on the open market. But in this case, you never have to go on the market. Can you give me a week? That's what I'd ask. Can you give me a week and see if I can beat that? Now, to participate in express offers, as Michelle said, you do have to go through their little class. So go ahead and go into EXP World and look at the class schedule and go ahead and take it. I think it's only a couple-hour class. Here's the other thing I would say, Tom. You gave her comps showing value of 300 and Open Door came up to 285, which would be her net if she was paying all the realtor expenses, that kind of stuff. I have taken a couple listings this year because I've had some past clients call me. One of them a couple weeks ago, and I listed his home. The comps said 245. He said to me, can we go at 280? And I said, why not? It's a crazy market. Stuff happens. Who knows? Let's try it. So we went in at 280, 35,000 over what the comp showed the value at. I put it out on Monday night. We had 16 showings on Tuesday, had about 7 offers. Not a single one of them was below 280. And we sold it within 24 hours, cash offer 305. So my point in telling that story is, I would say to someone like that, well, the comps are showing a value of 300. This is based on past sales, but we're in a crazy market right now and prices continue to accelerate. So I would suggest we come in at 305, 310, and we may end up even north of there with an offer. That is not what we would normally say to a seller. Normally, in a normal market, we're trying to get sellers to be more reasonable on pricing and to come in lower and generate a frenzy to drive the price up. But this is not a normal market. And in this market, it's a time to swing for the fences. And the fences just keep moving further and further back, and we're still hitting home runs. So, all right, somebody else, big win, big loss, big question. What's going on in your business? Okay, so y'all are being quiet. Okay, I'm going to ask a more specific question. Since listings are golden right now, has anybody taken a listing in the last 10 days? put a new listing on in the last 10 days? Anybody want to volunteer that? If you do, I want to ask you a couple questions about it. Don't be shy. These will be painless questions. Okay, is that Michelle?
Yeah,
Okay, Michelle. So have you put up a listing in the last 10 days?
yeah.
Okay. Couple questions for you. What was the source of that listing? How did you connect with that seller? How did you know the seller?
His sisters have both bought houses from me in the past, and I've just been around him socially since they bought.
Okay. So did you know the sisters socially before you were their real estate agent?
I did not.
Okay. So you developed a friendship with them through the business connection.
Through
and
an
that
open house, actually.
through an open house. So you met them, sold them homes, and now you're in their social network, and the brother reached out to you to help sell his home.
Yes, and well, it's a lot at Crystal Beach, and I will tell you, they were going to do it for sale by owner, and we're in that direction. I sent him comps and stuff unsolicited, and just said I'd love to help you if the need arises, if you decide you don't want to do it.
Yes. You know, that's so smart. FSBOs are scared because they know they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to minimize their costs and maximize their net, but they don't know how to write a contract. They don't understand the procedures of getting from a contract to a closing. They don't know what a title company does. They're scared to death. So if you can just come in with and just convey that calm confidence of a real estate professional, this is what I do it every day. Let me just take this burden from you. In fact, with my marketing efforts, I'm quite confident that we'll be able to get you a higher price that will more than cover my listing fee. So don't be concerned about any of it. Just let's agree on a price. Let me get it on the market. Let me do my thing. That kind of calming, professional approach is going to win the day all the time with FSBOs and expireds. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Anybody else put a listing up in the last 10 days or so? Okay. All right, then let's go. Yes, go ahead, Kevin.
Here's the thing. So, not a listing, but I had a house buyer, finally found them a house this week. The good news is we got it under contract, then we inspect. So what I'm revealing here is I made a mistake, and I want to share this mistake so y'all don't make this mistake, okay?
We love that. Yes, thank you, Kevin.
We get the house inspected. There are some things, and we go back to the seller and ask for a price concession. We negotiate a dollar reduction. And then I, don't shoot me now, I adjust the purchase price down by that dollar amount. So we changed the purchase price from $375 to $371. And then my trusty mortgage broker, Trevor Cave with Jackson Henry Mortgage, he gives me the equivalent of an elbow in the side. He calls me and says, you know, Kev, maybe there's some other ways we could do that. Like, for example, keep the price where it was and then just have the seller, what do we call it, Frank? A seller contribution to buyer's closing costs?
Perfect, you nailed it.
And so it has the same net effect. It's 375 minus 4 is 371 is what my buyer pays, but everyone is happier, including people that get their commission based on the sales price. People like yourself, for example. And so don't make that rookie mistake that I did. So I quickly corrected it, and all is at peace in the world again. So seller's contribution, and the difference is my seller, that's $4,000 less that he needs to bring to that closing table. If it really were to make that repair, that would be the money that he could literally take to make that repair straight away versus having a lower mortgage. That's not going to give him the cash he needs to put a new roof on.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the seller contribution to buyer closing costs is almost better for everybody every time, especially the buyer, because as you just said, Kevin, they keep that money in their pocket. That $4,000 on the loan probably comes to $15 a month. They're not going to miss it. But boy, $4,000 in their pocket when they move into a new home. They're going to need landscaping, blinds, new carpet. You know, one of the spouses is going to change everything. I'm not going to say which one it is, but one of them is going to want to make the nest up his or her own. So, all right, Michelle, what did you want to add?
Well, I wanted to ask real quick, just since everybody's here, I'm sure it can benefit others, is I did 2 listing appointments. One of them, they want to list due to vacations, family coming in. We're going to list at the end of July. Okay, so what do you do with the listing agreement? Do you go ahead and do a listing agreement now and then do an amendment later? How do you handle that to stay within compliance?
Sure. So you don't need to do an amendment. You can, and I would encourage you to go ahead and do the listing agreement now. And that way there's no question of somebody elbowing their way in between now and the end of July. But there is a space in the listing agreement where you can state the date at which the home will go on the market. So you can do that. You go ahead and take the listing now, but it's technically not effective. It's effective in the sense that it's enforceable because everybody signs it now, but you don't begin the marketing of the home until July 27th, or whatever date you select. So
okay, so doing that, whatever that fee space is, just put that in there.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then, and of course, you'll go on market then. And so that's the effective date, you know, for the new listing as far as the MLS is concerned, is that date it goes active. They don't really care what the date is on the listing agreement. Okay, the date that everybody signed. Okay. All right, great point, Michelle. Anybody else bumping up against any issues that you're having concerns about, frustrations about, any contract issues that are a little confusing? We're kind of getting close to the finish line here, but I just want to go open mic for a couple minutes and say, is there anything that anybody wants to put on the table and address while we're all here together? Okay, don't make me ask you a hard question. Okay, hey, let me do a couple things and we'll wrap up here. I do want to remind you about what's going on today. For the summer, June, July, August, we have refilled the training and social events calendar. And since this is the second day of August, second day of June, we're off and running. So at 10 o'clock in just about 15 minutes, Shannon Stalinsky is going to be in the spring training room teaching Mortgage 101. It will be live streamed, but I would encourage you to hop in the car and come down here if you can be part of that live. Then at 11 o'clock, and I would encourage you to come and be part of this. Dario Torres is going to lead a class on how to interview a broker, and it's really designed for people getting their real estate license. It's an attraction event. He's going to help them go interview with different brokers, but he's also going to take the opportunity to explain why he believes that affiliation with EXP is the best choice for a new agent to get started quickly. And it's going to be all the benefits of EXP plus all the benefits that we provide through the Abby team. But it would be helpful for you to come and see that in case you wanted to do something like that. There is an unending supply of new licensees, kind of like online leads. They're cheap and easy, okay? The Champions Real Estate is always full. And if you're looking at building your downline, your revenue share group that will create a passive income for you for life, this can be a good model for you to come and learn from and to show support for Dario, because this is his first one. Then at noon, we're having our potluck, so please grab something. I know nobody cooks anymore, but you know, go buy HEB or Walmart deli, pick up some potato salad or something. We've got sausages, better cheddar dogs, hot dogs. Kevin's going to be on the grill. So just bring something that goes, some kind of picnic food, dessert, chips, potato salad. We don't care. And join in. We want to rebuild that sense of camaraderie that's always been characteristic of the Abby team. Then next week, Power Monday is June 6th. That's next Monday. And our speaker got stuck in Puerto Rico, so we're not having the big event at Grace Church. but we're having a big event here at the spring office. Ribbon, which is a powerful third-party company that can help you sell new homes. In fact, Andrew Franklin of the Franklin team is the guy who reached out to me and said, Frank, we just had Ribbon speak at our office, and oh my goodness, you're going to have him come talk to your agents. So we are, 10 o'clock on Monday morning. And then Michael Hughes is going to step up as soon as Ribbon is done, and he's going to give us a personal tour of EXP World. And I realize most of us have been in the EXP organization for a number of months now, but he showed me some things last week that just opened my eyes. I had no idea those resources were there. I said, you need to tell this to our agents. So he's going to do that also on Monday morning, right after the Ribbon presentation. And then big day on Wednesday, June 8th. We've got Coach Burt coming back for his Person of Interest seminar. And what he has said, it's expensive, it's $2,500 for the whole 8-hour day experience. But he has said, if you register before the day, you can bring a friend for free. Well, that means you can split the cost, and each of you pay $1,250. And we've had a whole bunch of people sign up. It's going to be a big deal, but it's not too late if you want to get involved. Just go to his website, coachburt.com. and look for Person of Interest here at our office on June 8th, okay? We have all kinds of other stuff going. I guess I should mention this Saturday, we're going to be doing Legal Update 1 with Michael Hughes right here at the spring office at 10 a.m. He'll be doing Legal Update 2 the 3rd Saturday of June at our Katy office, and he'll be reversing those every month, teaching Legal Update 1, Legal Update 2 at either office, 1st and 3rd Saturdays. Ralph, thank you for your question. Yes, we will certainly record Mortgage 101. I'll check with Dario and see if he's okay with us recording his class, and if he is, we'll push the record button. Okay. All right, Rochelle.
Frank, just a quick question. When Michael does the Legal Update 1 and 2, is it do you have to pay for
it? Rochelle, where are you? Come on now. This is Abby, right? So no, our favorite word, our 4-letter word is free. So we never charge for our training. Sometimes when we have an outside speaker like Coach Burt, they'll charge. We get not a cent of that. That's for the speaker. But if it's our internal team, and Michael's part of our internal team, we never charge for that.
I wish I had known that. I signed up with Champions. I'm done with it now, but I did all my courses with Champions.
Well, Rochelle, I'm going to tell you something. If you take Legal Update 1 from Michael, I promise you, you're going to learn stuff you didn't get at Champions. So I encourage agents, even though you don't have to take them every year, I encourage you to take them every year. It'll keep you sharp.
Okay.
Take it from Frank or Michael Hughes every year.
What was that, Michelle?
I said you need to take it from either Frank Gray or Michael Hughes every year, and you'll definitely learn a lot more.
Take it from Frank or Michael. I appreciate that endorsement, Michelle. Yeah, we both love teaching it. And
so one question for you on that is, if we're using this as an agent attraction tool, so if we have other agents come in to take it, is it free to them, or do they need to pay something?
Always free. Always free. So yeah, absolutely. Invite your friends to come, and obviously, as long as we're getting good support, agents are. Michael's not going to do this if 3 agents show up. I mean, he'll do it for those 3, but he won't keep doing it. I mean, we need to have a good group here. If Michael is, and Michael's not being paid by EXP to do this either. This is not part of his job as an EXP broker. He's doing this in support of us and to also attract new agents to our team. So let's support him.
That's great.
Okay. All right. Okay. Appreciate everybody joining. Yes, Kevin, last word.
Just one more. Remember, we're going to start our Power Hour phone calling today at 1 o'clock after the lunch. So if anybody wants to come and join us, this is a new thing we're getting going. 1 o'clock today, the Power Hour. And second question, and for that one, just bring a list, right? Bring a list and a phone.
Bring a list and a phone. That's right. And we'll gather the group together, give some brief instructions, divide up, call, meet back, divide up, call, meet back. So you're not going to be just on your own completely.
Perfect. And then the second one, will there be a lunch and learn next week?
You're asking me a calendar question.
Tuesday, right?
Hold on, let's look at this.
Tuesday
Uh,
noon?
Oh, there sure is. Oh my goodness, how in the world did I forget that? Thank you for the reminder, Kevin. So on Tuesday, even though we're not having Power Monday on Monday, we are still going to do our lunch and learn on Tuesday at Cilantro's. And this is a lunch that we host. Kevin and I are going to do this together for you to come and bring with you another agent. And we will go through an EXP value proposition for them. We're going to feed them a free lunch at Cilantro's. Again, if you've not participated and you're scared and you want to come and check it out, do that. But I think you'll be very impressed. We've already done it a couple times very successfully. Kevin will be participating this time, so it'll be even better. But that'll be Tuesday at noon at Cilantro's. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining us. I'm going to get in here for our next class. We got a full morning, and I want to be part of it as much as I can. Okay. God bless you.
Take care.